Soul pick. Only choice. So, have you safely arrived at the intersection of the Rue Saulpic and the Avenue du Château? This intersection is what became of the Basse-Cour, or Lower Court district, thanks to the urban development project carried out at the end of the 18th century. I'd like to say just a couple of things about this district. Created at the end of the 14th century by King Charles V, the Basse-Cour served as an area for housing the numerous domestics serving at the king's court. It was located along the axis of the Tour du Village, or village tower, one of the principal entryways of the castle, which was in the process of being built. For several centuries, it was not much more than an empty lot closed in on one side by the castle and by a few houses on the others. In 1778, the royal administration decided to sell the Basse-Cour in order to bring a little money into the royal coffers. Consequently, the royal surveyor, whose name was Louis-François Boudin, was put in charge of creating new roads by dividing up the central part of the lot. For those of you who may not know, a surveyor is a person who measures land and marks property boundaries. The surveyor deliberately decided to make the Avenue du Château wider than all the other roads in the area. It was drawn up as a direct extension of the castle. Have you noticed that the corners of the buildings and the pavements here do not form typical right angles, like the ones you see at most intersections? Have you noticed that they're cut angles? This special shape at the corners is the work of that famous royal surveyor. He decided to adopt this new technique of cut angles that characterized urban development projects of the 18th century. This concept not only allowed for the creation of more space at public intersections, but also facilitated the passage of horse-drawn vehicles. Wow! Guess I actually learned something during all those hours spent studying at the city archives. But jokes aside, a fifth riddle awaits us. Continue along the same way. To find your next destination, halt at the street whose name is revealed in the following riddle. My first syllable is the first syllable of the first day of the week. My second syllable is the last word in the title of a famous Greek myth speaking of a certain Helen whose face launched 1,000 ships. Once you've arrived at this street, look for the imposing building whose warm, orangey polished bricks contrast with its bluish ceramic decoration. Let's see if we come to the same conclusion. If all goes well, we should end up face to face in front of the same monument.